All right, so welcome back to the program. Ambrose Omordion is joining me right now. He's the Chief Research Officer at InvestData Consulting Limited. Welcome to you, Mr. Omordion, and thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me again.
Okay, now let's get started. We are in the second quarter of this year. What's your analysis of the first quarter? How did we fare as an economy in the first quarter of this year, especially as we all battled, or we're still battling a pandemic? What do you think?
Actually, I would say that the first quarter of 2021 was a mixed quarter in terms of performance. If you look at the economic data, I will tell you they are mixed and some are negative. But I would say kudos to the government and the CBN for early intervention in 2020. That overflow to what we saw in the first quarter of 2021. But what is important at this point that not only what we have achieved in the either 2020 last quarter or first quarter, consistent policy, how to sustain this is what's important. Even when your growth or your recovery is still fragile, you need to put policy in place to sustain it. And that is the most important thing. Because in Nigeria, we've seen that policy somersault and mismatched policy have kept us where we are as a nation. Yes, we understand that what happened in 2020, that the COVID-19 and that led us into recession, the second time in the last 4 years. And also, we are coming out of it with having a positive GDP for last quarter 2020 as 0.11, which is good for me. But sustainability is what matters at this point. But what we're seeing in terms of policy or infrastructural reform we're seeing is not supporting the economy as we speak now. If you look at our GDP, let me start from our GDP first. GDP, you see that the agricultural sector that also contribute much to that. For me, it's not much as expected because the interest government have shown in that sector and the money upon them, we have seen more contribution to our GDP. But because of what insecurity in the system, in the economy, people are not in the farm, farmers are out of farm. Also, look at our inflation as we speak now. Inflation continues to rally, to continue to rise on a monthly basis as well. There is even data to us to see. The recent one is about almost 18% for something. Now, if we are going by that data we are seeing, and also what is unveiling in the economy, the high insecurity, the planting season, we see that this high inflation rate will continue. And that means cost of living in Nigeria become a high problem. You can see already that unemployment rate are hit almost at 3.3, which is also high. For me, it means how to sustain the recovery we have just seen is important. Not just that we are moving up. No, how can we sustain that later? Because as we speak now, we're expecting GDP for first quarter 2021. We have not seen. But from the data I'm seeing from purchasing manager index for the month of January, February, there's a light years that our industrial output, national output is improving. But we need to sustain that. We have not seen the data for purchasing manager for March, but for January, that they moved from 50.2 to February 52.7. It's an improvement. Fine. Also, we have moved from a negative GDP in third quarter from 3.62 to a positive GDP in fourth quarter. These are signs that we are recovering. But how to sustain this is very important. But the policy framework we are seeing, I'm telling you, the sustainability is very slim to sustain this recovery we are seeing because the mismatch policy we are seeing from the government, the fiscal aspect and the monetary policy, is what personally I'm afraid of. But in terms of liquidity is fair because our inflation is not liquidity push, it's not cash push inflation. This infrastructural push and policy mismanaged push inflation. For example, you look at the rate we have increased fuel in Nigeria, fuel and energy. I know that energy, fuel, these are what drive any economy anywhere in the world. If the price of these items are up, you don't expect to control inflation because it will push everything up. That is why I said the fiscal authority and the monetary have to sit down. Yes, you see, the monetary have give allowances to foreign. Let's have chief fund that will drive no kind of activities. People will employ chief fund to employ. But if even we're employing people and the cost of living is high, the inflation will remain on the high side. What we do, let's just sit down as a nation and see, is it the right time for us to really deregulate it or remove subsidy from fuel? We will know the impact of this fuel on our nation as a nation. For me, this is the time for the government to sit down. Or can we do it batch by batch? That will go a long way to make us, even though what we're doing, at the end of the day, if inflation remains high, even investment in fixed income, investment in capital is being threatened already with high inflation in Nigeria. We need to look at what can we do to make sure that we bring this inflation down. And it's not just...
Okay, Mr. Omordion, let me just halt you a bit. And you've raised a lot of issues. We have a pandemic we're still battling. We have stagflation in our faces. We have food prices at its highest in over 12 years. We have misery index rising and rising by the day. Unemployment 33.3%. I asked my guest, I think some weeks ago, when the MBS released the latest unemployment data, and I asked him, I said, what's more, or how can hell be more hellish than it is right now in Nigeria, especially on Nigerians, coupled with the insecurity? Do you think that the poor macroeconomic handling, or the poor handling of the macroeconomic environment, has also contributed to this? Because I know that we used to have a problem even before the pandemic.
But now,
yes, the pandemic worsened it. It's made it, all hell is being let loose, right? Even if you're a big man, so to speak, in Nigerian palace, you are still feeling it. Because if you are one big man in the midst of 1 million poor people,
you are the poorest big man.
Yes, you are the poorest big man, and everyone will be coming to you for the tiniest thing. So how do you see the handling of Nigeria's macroeconomic environment in the last quarter?
Yeah, even let me just, before I enter the last quarter, even before now, there is no coordination between the monetary policy and the fiscal policy in Nigeria. As if they are working apart. If, for example, now, let me just start from the monetary policy, the first one for this year, 2021. No, they came and said, oh, let's leave rates flat, just because to want to kind of make funds available at the low rate to drive what productivity, let supply side be up and all those stuff. But as we speak now, inflation is continuing to threaten what all they are doing. And you now ask yourself, what is the cost of this inflation? For me, it's just one or two things is the cost. Let's address the root of this. One, in 2020, despite the pandemic, we had no increase in fuel price more than 6 times. And you know that when there's little increase in fuel price, transportation will double without increment. And now anybody that go to the farm, even to the interior, privilege to bring food items, and you know that inflation is food item is the main basket of that inflation. And when they go out to bring this food item, the cost of transportation will be high, and they put it on the item they are selling. Nothing will bring it down because the cost of transportation is already high. Look at what we're paying for electricity alone. The cost of production is high. I think what we should do, let's sit down and see. For example, now I'll tell them, I'll give it to this government to a level. Look at the way we're having good roads. Fine. If you're having road that people are not using the road, who's going to enjoy the road? You say that unemployment or misery index is high. It's because people are unemployed, insecurity, and the people are not in the farm. No, a lot of things. We need to sit and say, let's address the issue of security. One. After addressing the issue of security, I'm telling you, things will come down. Farmers will go back to farm. And also look at our policy mismatch. You can't see a country where the same ministry that they are contemplating information. One say they have increased fuel price, one say they don't increase. In the same ministry, there's no coordination in this government, the way they do their things. Let them just sit down and coordinate their activities. In the same ministry, they say, oh, we're increasing fuel. One say, oh, we're not increasing fuel. Nigeria, sorry. No, it's a conflicting statement. As we speak now, people are already factoring that in this month of April, fuel will cross around 200 naira. Already, it's going to reflect on price of goods and services. The high cost of living will be there. Unemployment will also jump up. Even when CBN have left interest rate a bit low to attract a cheaper fund, people are still finding it difficult because things are high. I think we should come back, let the monetary policy and the fiscal go back to their drawing board and amend them. If, for example, now you say you are giving people in terms of relief, in terms of levy, bringing bus to transport Nigerians. Even when they bring this bus, are they going to use water to run it? It's not going to fuel. This high cost of fuel they're going to use to run this bus. We need to address this issue. Once this issue is sorted out, I'm telling you, the economy will find direction. Only good thing I'm saying that the Nigerian companies are shown that they are resilient despite the recession we just saw and the COVID-19 issue. If you see the numbers that are coming out of these companies in Nigeria, I think that our companies, the corporate Nigerians are really resilient and they are shown that yes, they can manage resources. If that is pushed to the government aspect, let's government be run as corporate body. If it is run like that, things will improve in Nigeria. If the same Nigeria we are complaining, the corporate companies here are giving us good results, they are paying dividend, we also take that kind of attitude to government. What's wrong in Nigeria, like government, like things will improve in this nation.
Where actually is the missing link? Because just like you said, and it's good you brought that out, because if you take a look at the earnings from the Nigerian quoted companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, you will see that the earnings that they brought out, even in a pandemic year, surpassed our expectations.
Exactly.
They were paying dividends. Dangote Cement, for example, 16 naira. I think Stanbic IBTC, 3 naira 60 kobo. The banks, the top tier banks, were also doing well. Some are even expanding into other African countries in a pandemic year. And these are companies that are within a dysfunctional
Yes.
economy. So Mr. Omordion, just take it away from here, because it seems I really am short of words this morning.
No,
Really.
actually, personally, what they should do is that let's go back to our drawing board. These people that are running this corporate body, they are not angels, they are not saints, they are not spirit, they are human beings that have flesh and blood. They are Nigerians. No, the discussion between the way they run government in Nigeria and Rwanda is different. Let's put people that know what to do. I will tell you that even in the same ministry where we are having information that will guide the economy, we are having conflicting information. You look at the way even the coordination between the fiscal and the monetary policy. No, we need to work as a team. Look at all these big companies; they work as a team. That's why you are seeing results. But in Nigeria, the government, whether they run it as one-man business or it's for a set of people in Nigeria, I don't understand. Let's come together and build this nation with policy that is.
Okay, Mr. Omordion, are you still there? I can see that the network is frozen right now. Let's try to reconnect him so that we can finish or conclude. Okay, Mr. Omordion, I can see you now. I think the network is back. We lost you at a time.
Okay, no, yeah, we need to have a consistent policy so that we can take us to the next level. The problem we have in Nigeria is that our policies are not consistent.
What will be the next level? Oh? What's the next level? Because APC is saying this is the next level. And economically, this next level is not looking good at all. I don't think Nigerians will want to hear next level, apart from the APC people. I'm not a politician. No. I'm just saying what exactly are the numbers I'm saying. No. So what's the next level for us? This next quarter, what's the next level? Is there any upside for us?
Just like you just said, it needs the same economy where things are not working. People are still making money. Some companies are still bringing out good results. I think it's high time we look at our strengths as a nation. Where are we missing it? Those where we have strength, let's work on it. The government is looking elsewhere. Let's look inward. It's not keeping people that are, for me, people that are sons around you, people that are, I don't know what to call them, but people that are competent, people that are going to tell you the truth, and you work with facts, not just because you are enriching yourself. No, let's make sure that this nation is being put in place that every Nigerian will benefit, even those who are unborn. Let's make policy that will be consistent. My major problem in Nigeria is that it's not really just we're in a hardship environment now. Things are not working. Everywhere in the world to speak now, this is a vaccine year. The economy is recovering gradually because they have policy on ground. What can we say about Nigeria? That this is our policy. The monetary policies have tried their best to push on that. But if you look at other structural reform and all those things, they are not working. We need to see that.
Are you not seeing enough from government, from federal government, especially in the area of perhaps like infrastructure upgrade around the country? Perhaps some snippet from the Minister of Finance here and there.
Yeah, actually, if you see in terms of infrastructure, fine, we are seeing infrastructure coming up, good roads, but they are not impacting the economy. Why? One, I would say major thing. When you have infrastructure and don't have policy that will take what you are doing from one level to the level, your infrastructure is nothing. And when you have infrastructure and people cannot move on that infrastructure, on that road, that road is useless. What matters that we are doing road, we are putting it is good. If people free to move around, when there is no people around, the business will be down because people are afraid to come to your country or to move to that state to go and do business. People are afraid to move. Let them be secure. When there is security, you can assure that business will strive. But because there is no security in Nigeria, everybody is coming to guess. Let me just stay one corner and watch. No. Let's give assure Nigeria security. My previous surprise that I was thinking after the change of the service ship that in the next before 100 days we'll see a drastic change. But things have become worse after the change. We need to also go back to them. What is happening in this nation? It's not the number of people who are changing or their names. No, we should find the root cause of all this and address it, and that will help our economy. As we speak now, like what we just said earlier, the companies on the exchange are in Nigeria here. They are doing well. Why is it that the government and the people are not feeling impact of governance and all? We should ask a question. Even we that are in government, even if we say next level, not next level, that next level, is it reflecting at all anywhere? Or is it reflecting in our own pocket or in our family alone? We should like in society, there's a lot of hardship in the environment. Inflation alone is threatening Nigeria already. And not only that, the policy that are in charge of fighting this inflation should be reviewed. Inflation cannot come overnight. There are things that are pushing inflation up. You remember, let me take you back again. You remember in when this recent the incumbent CBN was announced for the second term. That week, he rolled out a plan that yes, he wants inflation to come as high as what low digit figure. A month after that, we closed our border. We are not prepared to close our border. Since then, August 2019 to date, August, that inflation has remained on the upside. Check it for every month. Inflation with all strategies uploaded, interest rates down. That means there are some factors that are behind. Yes, we open the border. Still, there's something behind that we don't know.
So what exactly is now behind our problems? Because should we now go supernatural or spiritual? But
no, we are the one affecting ourselves. We're not trying to accept the truth.
Yes, because it seems that perhaps the Nigerian economy is defying solutions from those that are currently in charge of handling the economy. And that is why many Nigerians have turned to prayers right now. Even what our brains would do, normally you should just sit down, analyze the problem, and your brain will give you a solution. And all of us are praying to God because we are seemingly helpless. Thank you very much, Mr. Omordion, for joining me today.
God help us. Thank you.
You've just said it, God will help us. Okay. Thank you for watching our video. Please hit the subscribe button below, turn on post notification to follow all our updates.